Hello learners, how are you? I believe all of you are doing fine, and today we are going to take up the last part of the chapter, Discovering Tut. The saga continues. It appears as if we are going through a mystery thriller. The revelations are happening. We are coming to know so much about this mysterious ruler, the boy king, King Tut. So without much ado, let's get started. A CT machine scanned the mummy head to toe. So in the previous session, we came to know that the mummies are found out, and then the scanner comes in the picture and the scanning is done. The same happened with King Tut. After all, he was the most iconic ruler among many. So he was scanned, creating 1700 digital X-ray images in cross section. Tut's head, scanned in 0.62 millimeter slices to register its intricate structures, takes on eerie detail in the resulting image. Eerie detail why? Because after all, it was very strange, the forensic reconstruction or the 3D image that would come after the scanning was related to the person who was alive thousands of years ago. And we would come to know how that person used to look like after 3,300 years. Isn't that astonishing, strange, eerie? With Tut's entire body similarly recorded, a team of specialists in radiology, forensics, and anatomy began to probe the secrets that the winged goddesses of a gilded burial shrine protected for so long. Eerie. If you describe something as eerie, you mean that it seems strange and frightening and makes you feel nervous. And that is why people, especially the team of Zahi Hawass, they were very surprised and stunned, because after all, they were coming to know how this mummy used to look like a human being years ago. So the scanning was to be done. The night of the scan, workmen carried Tut from his tomb in his box. Like pallbearers, they climbed a ramp and a flight of stairs into the swirling sand outside. So the wind was blowing furiously and the sand was all over. Then rose on a hydraulic lift into the trailer that held the scanner. So on the night of scanning, the body was taken out, the mummy was taken out, and the workmen carried the mummy like pallbearers, as you can see in the picture. And then the mummy was placed on a hydraulic lift, taken to the scanner. 20 minutes later, two men emerged, sprinted for an office nearby, ran fastly, and returned with a pair of white plastic vans. The $1 million scanner had quit because of sand in a cooler fan. Curse of the Pharaoh, joked the guard nervously. So if you remember, in the beginning of the chapter, there was this phrase, curse of the Pharaoh. The one who would disturb the mummy would take it out from the burial chamber. Something bad is going to happen to that person. Something bad will happen to those persons. Something bad will happen for sure. The same happened here. The $1 million scanner. The sand filled up the cooler fan. Sand as in the form of nature. So the Egyptian people, they said that it is the curse of the Pharaoh. They took out the mummy, disturbed it. So something bad was supposed to happen, and this is what has happened. That is pure superstition, of course, and well, obviously the problem was solved. Eventually, the substitute fans worked well enough to finish the procedure. After checking that no data had been lost, the technicians turned Tut over to the workmen, who carried him back to his tomb. Less than 3 hours after he was removed from his coffin, the Pharaoh again rested in peace where the funerary priests had laid him so long ago. So he was back to his place. The scanning was done. And now it was the turn of the result of the CT scan. Back in the trailer, a technician pulled up astonishing images of Tut on a computer screen. After all, the revelation was about to happen. A grey head took shape from a scattering of pixels, and the technician spun and tilted it in every direction. It was a 3D image after all. Neck vertebrae appeared as clearly as in an anatomy class. Other images revealed a hand, several views of the rib cage, and a transection of the skull. But for now, the pressure was off. So, once the CT scan was done, the forensic reconstruction happened, and with the help of that, the 3D imaging, we came to know how King Tut used to look like. And this is the picture in front of us. On your very right is the truest picture that could tell you that how the boy king used to look like when he was alive. Sitting back in his chair, Zahi Hawass smiled, visibly relieved that nothing had gone seriously wrong. I didn't sleep last night, not for a second, he said. I was so worried. But now I think I will go and sleep. So yes, it happens, after all, he was the man in charge and there was a big event coming. So he could not sleep, he was very nervous. But the scanning was done, everything went on smoothly, they came to know the result also, and then he was relieved, and this was the result. King Tut, his iconic mask, then his facial features, how he used to look like, and then his entire physique was visible. And as I told you in the last session that there was some disability as far as his legs were concerned, and this is presented here, that he had some kind of problem in his leg, and that is why he used a cane to walk. And this might be the reason, the ultimate reason of his death also, that how the infection took place and how he died, maybe when he fell off and suffered an injury. Now coming to the last paragraph. By the time we left the trailer descending metal stairs to the sandy ground, the wind had stopped. The winter air lay cold and still, like death itself, in this valley of the departed. Just above the entrance to Tut's tomb stood Orion, the constellation that the ancient Egyptians knew as the soul of Osiris, the god of the afterlife, watching over the boy king. So just above the entrance of Tut's tomb stood Orion. Orion, the constellation, it is visible in the sky, and they considered it to be the soul of the Osiris. Osiris was the Greek god. Osiris was the ancient Egyptian god of the dead and the god of the resurrection into the eternal life, ruler, protector, and judge of the deceased. So obviously after his death, King Tut would go to Osiris. After all, he had to go to the afterlife, resurrection. Osiris would take him in and take care of him. It's present there on one of the murals. The picture is taken from there only. I'll show you. It is in the burial chamber. So Osiris was the one taking care of King Tut after his death. And it shows that how Tutankhamun was regally ahead. He was scanned, the first of the mummies to be scanned, the most famous one, the most iconic one. People are still surprised to hear about his life and his death, about the richest collection found with his mummy, about the way he was hidden away in the burial chamber 26 feet underground. So, indeed, the most important part is that he was regally ahead, and he was the first of the mummies to be scanned in life as well as in death. And there are many mummies all over Egypt. How all of them would bring out more changes in the course of history, how more knowledge about the history would make us realize that how we emerged as the human race. After all, we are very much connected to the history. What we are today is the result of the history. As Leonardo da Vinci said, learn how to see. Realize that everything connects to everything else. So if we are flourishing high, like the leaves of a tree or the branches of a tree, we are the result of the roots, the history. We are made up of the history. So with this chapter, we had come to know a little about ancient Egyptian history, but there is so much more to find out, to search, to encounter. Keep doing that. Learn more about history. It's simply enchanting, mesmerizing. And go through some documentaries made about this topic. You will find something astonishing because a lot has happened in these 15 years also. So with this, I would like to close it for today, and I hope that you have understood the chapter very well. And just keep reading, have fun, and let the mystery be resolved somehow.